Hello, my name is Jacob LeBaron and this is my Futures Project. Today we're going to be talking about the economy of Pakistan, but more specifically, how the economy is going to affect the country in the future. In order to do this, we're going to start by looking at the population of Pakistan. So Pakistan is the sixth most populated country in the world. This is significant for a couple of reasons. First, because Pakistan is a relatively new country. They gained their independence in 1947, which wasn't too long ago. Despite being a rather young country, Pakistan has grown at a very impressive rate. Another reason that makes Pakistan's population so impressive is looking at its geographic size. The smallest of the top 5 most populated countries is Indonesia, and Indonesia is more than twice as large as Pakistan. I gathered some historical data about the population in Pakistan, and then I took those numbers and made it into a graph so we could see how the population has grown throughout the years. We can see that the population was growing at a rather slow rate, but then once 1980 hit, it shot up and started growing at a very impressive rate. This gray line shows the actual growth of Pakistan and the current population of just over 200 million. This orange line here shows the predicted growth for the future years all the way up until 2050. So what this means about the future of Pakistan is that by 2050, Pakistan can have over 300 million citizens, which would add up to 3% of the world population. Now we're going to look at some of Pakistan's best friends. Well, at least their best friends when it comes to trading. We're going to look at the exports and the imports. Exports are all of the goods that Pakistan sells to other countries, whereas the imports are all the things that Pakistan will buy. Some of the countries that appear as top importers or exporters are the United States, China, and the United Arab Emirates. You might be wondering to yourself why India isn't here on the list, especially since India is a country that borders Pakistan. This has a lot to do with the history between the two countries. To say the least, Pakistan and India aren't really good friends. They don't get along at all. They have a long history of wars and contentions and non-stop fighting. As a result, Pakistan and India do not want to trade with each other. China, on the other hand, is very interested in trading with Pakistan. This is because the two biggest nations in the area are China and India, and as a result, they have a lot of competition when it comes to trading. China wants to trade with Pakistan so that it makes them stronger and that they can have that advantage over India, making China the dominant nation within the area. You might have noticed that Pakistan has a $24 billion trade deficit. A trade deficit is when their imports are greater than their exports, which is the case. You might think that this is a bad thing since what they're buying is more than what they're selling, but it isn't. Think about it. A country is only going to import goods that are cheaper in foreign nations than it is within their own nation. As a result, as these cheaper goods come into the country, it makes the price of all existing goods much lower. So, the citizens in Pakistan are able to buy things at a cheaper price. A big percentage of Pakistan's exports are house linens and rice, along with some other clothing materials. Most of their imports are petroleum. Now, what does all of this mean for the future of Pakistan? Well, it shows that Pakistan is going to have very strong foreign relations as they continue to trade with these countries. It's also going to show that their cost of living is going to be improved. Now we're going to take a look at some of the economic indicators. Gross domestic product, or GDP for short, is a measure of how much money a country is making. When it says PPP next to it, that stands for purchasing power parity, and that just takes into account the comparative value of money. So we can see that Pakistan is ranked number 26 out of 230 countries. Now that's not too shabby. We can also look at the GDP growth rate, or in other words, how fast the GDP is going to be growing, and we see that in the most recent year, 2017, it grew at 5.3%, which was ranked number 41, also out of 230 countries. The real trouble lies in the GDP per capita, or in other words, how much money each individual is making. We can see that in the most recent year, on average, a person would make about $5,400, which is not a lot of money at all. Now we're going to take a look at the employment in Pakistan. As in most countries, the jobs are divided within different sectors, but in Pakistan, more than 2/5 of the population work with some sort of agriculture-related job. The unemployment rate in Pakistan is 6% and hasn't changed within the past few years. They are ranked number 89 in the world. What that means is that 6 out of 100 people are currently looking for a job but cannot find one. Another big problem is underemployment. Child labor has also been a continuing issue in Pakistan. Most children are bricklayers and they work 8 to 8.5 hours per day and they make 50 rupees, which is about 60 cents per day. Pakistan is in a wonderful position to make a better future. They've realized that a lot of their problems in the past have come from corruption and poor education. I believe that if Pakistan can eliminate corruption and make the improvements in education that they're planning, they can be one of the most prosperous nations in the world. This is Jacob LeBaron, and thanks for watching.